Little Ham says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Five, four, three, two, one, go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, folks, and listening. This is Desmond. I am joined today. We're literally having a pre-match chat, and then we'll watch the game, and then we'll come back and we'll review the game. So we're doing a wee bit different today. I am joined by our resident tactician, so it'll be interesting to see Hector Bandido with a large pint of what we're drinking today.
Lager.
Frontiers.
Stuff.
A big pint of stuff. So welcome Hector Bandido, and we also have the man across the water, Monty Burns. Good morning, Monty.
Morning, lads. How are you? I have a cup of tea.
Yeah, lovely. You've had I've had my breakfast. Apologies, we should have done this an hour ago, but I was just too lazy. So we've got 15 minutes before the game, Hector. You've seen the team. Any surprises? Roger, can be surprised at that?
No, really. Either one. I don't think playing the two would be a good idea, as we've seen recently. Certainly to start with, but one of either of. So you've got to trust Ange, haven't you? You obviously think Drogic is the man to start with. He won't last 90, as we know. And I think O'Reilly will probably come on at some point to replace him in the second half, yeah. But the team itself, I think most of us could have picked it. The only question mark was Kyogo, whether we might have made the bench, but obviously he's not on the bench, and I'm fine with that, right? As you said, I think you put a tweet yesterday. Listen, we've got a big number of weeks coming along. The key thing's getting him ready for those games rather than today, right? So, yep, let's go with what we've got today.
And Monty, I'm just looking at the team here. So we've got Hart, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, Taylor, McGregor, Hatate, Rogic, Jota, Giakoumakis and Maeda. But we also have on the bench, Monty, do you think we've got enough holding midfielders in Beaton, McCarthy and Ideguchi? Are we looking to close the game out, do you think, in the last 20 minutes?
I picked that up. I think it's more that he's perceiving that it's going to be one in the middle. They have physicality above and beyond what we have, but physicality, I think I mentioned in the WhatsApp, physicality is no good if you don't have the ball. So I think there's a little bit of just, wouldn't call it defensive thinking, it's just around strengthening it up. They're going to be nowhere near as mobile as us in the middle and out wide. But certainly, I think I mentioned, if we can get our hands on the ball early, they're going to come out all guns blazing. They're going to look for the early goal the same way that we got at Celtic Park. But if we can get hold of the ball and dominate the ball, then I think what he's gone with in the middle, and especially with Jota and Maeda, that's going to just pin these guys right back. And I think that's the expectation. But from a bench point of view, I think Hector picked up on it in the WhatsApp. We don't have another centre half there, but that's obviously a bit on the drop.
That's a concern though, right? You've got 9 subs. 9 subs, and Ange was asked on Friday. It's only Forrest that's not available. So Julian and Welsh are fit. To have 9 subs and not have one of them on the bench, it doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense, right?
I was thinking that for the other end of the pitch, also centre forwards. But I suppose you could always swap Maeda in. You're hoping that both he and Giakoumakis don't get injured. But we've got, I think, 5 midfielders. You've got Turnbull and O'Reilly for your kind of attacking midfielders perspective. But anyway, prediction-wise, let me just quickly, Ralph was hoping to join us, but as we've been mentioning, he sometimes has technological problems between his fingers and actually working his phone. So Ralph had put on the WhatsApp, their plan, 5 in the midfield, stifle Celtic and drag us into a stalemate, hoping to win with the penalty that will be given. They're just trying to stay in it early. That'll unsettle the crowd. All about taking our chances for me. We won't get more than 4 or 5. So Ralph's confident we'll score at least 3 a day. Hector, what do you think? What's your prediction?
I've got to get the caveat out there. Got to do it. Referee, it's Willie Collum. If it's 11v11, no red cards, I think we can win today 2-1. If Collum has a Collum game, then who knows, right?
And Monty, do you think the ref will be a factor? Do you have any fear about the referee being overawed, or making himself bigger in the game.
They put him under loads of pressure. Mind he couldn't get a game at Ibrox because they complained about him. But Colm, I don't think Colm is of the Brethren Brigade. He's just a bad ref. I think he'd be a factor, but he'd be a factor in probably an interpretation of a rule that other refs would just let go. I wouldn't be worried about him. Desi, no. I think overall, if you're looking prediction-wise, if we can dominate the ball early, I expect Rangers to tire last 20, last 25. They were already, if you've seen the coverage of the internationals, apparently that guy Bassi was out in his feet in the first half for Nigeria. So he's just busted. Aribo, I don't know how he played. So they're akin to one of the seasons, I think, under O'Neill. Remember we got to the quarter-final and Villarreal, I think, put us out of the Europa League or UEFA Cup, whatever it was. We just ran out of steam that year. I think they're approaching the same thing. They've come with pretty much the same team. They don't have a squad or depth that we've been able to build up since January. So, prediction, they'll score. Whether they get it with a penalty or a set piece, hard to know. I think we'll score a couple. I think it might be a draw. But I do believe, no matter what happens, lads, we're still top of the league at the end of the afternoon. So, it doesn't make any difference, really, in a grand scheme. But I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a scoring draw.
Daisy, what are we going for?
I have bet. You mentioned 2-1 earlier. My wife always picks. My wife, a good East End girl like yourself from East End, Hector. She always takes 2-1 in every game. So I bet her 2-1. But my big prediction today is Alan McGregor to get sent off. I'm going for a big prediction. Alan Maeda to terrorise McGregor. That's my dream today, that we get enough space between McGregor and Maeda and the ball in between. And I think McGregor will totally shit himself. Anyway, I don't know about the double jeopardy rule these days, with the whole penalty and the guy getting sent off and stuff, if it's a keeper. But I've got a good feeling that the occasion could get to McGregor today. And I'm glad to say we're joined by... Sorry, Monty.
Sorry, I was just going to say, just on that, it was another wee point just sparked in my head. Sorry for jumping in. I don't think Colin would be as much of a factor as the linesman. And hold that thought.
Oh, that's a good point. Ralph, welcome. Welcome to Ralph Mouth.
Ralph, we won 4-1, Ralph. Welcome to the post-match podcast.
Yes, welcome to the pre-match Optimism CSC podcast, where everybody's...
I'm just listening to you there. I thought, you know what, I'm going to log off again. What are you worried about?
Oh, nobody's worried.
I've just said they're saying McGregor's getting sent off. This would be a personal highlight.
I said we'll win 2-1. Where's the
It's only Monty being Mr. Doom and Gloom.
With his 10-minute fucking caveat.
Just because he's still got £2 million invested in Russian rubles, they can't get out of the country.
It was just catching what Monty said at the end there about the score draw. And yet, as he said in the WhatsApp group just before, if they've altered the way they're playing because of today's game, then we've already won the psychological battle. And I think I can't see them coming rushing out and roaring out because they'll need to keep the back door shut, as it were, because of the pace on our flanks. I think the game will be done and dusted by half-time again.
Oh, God.
I like that. It was some saying blind optimism, but I'm
by the way, see we get gubbed. Wait till you see him in the post-match pod. It'll be the complete opposite.
Exactly, it'll be a complete, I told you so. I've been telling you for weeks, the guys that done.
We're shite, Ange must go.
I watched Jack Marcus getting interviewed just before the game. The other thing I noticed with Ryan Jack getting interviewed, it was as though he's reading from a card, and they've got the Tati Castor kind of training kit on. Whereas Jackie Marcus looked apart with the Adidas on, and he spoke very well, even though obviously English isn't his first language. And there was a kind of quiet calmness about him. You get the sense that he's just waiting to be let off the leash today.
Sorry, Des, in terms of us, right, just I think usual caveats apart, you've got to put it out there with the referees and officials, right? But I just hope we play our game. And what I mean by that is that players don't become invisible today. They don't hide, and I don't care who you are. To go away from home and 49,000 really wanting blood, it's a hell of a pressure. I hope the players stand up today. And what I mean by that is that sometimes physically you've got to stand up within reason, i.e. compete, but then use the ball and be strong on it. Yeah, be positive on it. And don't hide. Just don't hide. Show up. And see if you lose and you show up, fair dues. But just show up today and let's see it. And if we do that, I think we can win 2-1.
Yeah. Ralph, we read out one of your WhatsApp was saying you don't think we'll score more than 4 or 5. Are you standing by that? What's your score prediction?
It would be. I would, as much as I want to see a huge win, I think we'll settle for 2-0 or something like that, and then close the game down, just like we did in the first game.
My caveat's always been, I've never seen a Celtic team that can play not to lose a game. So are we all happy if we draw today?
Yeah, I'll take it now.
Everybody happy enough with that? This is one of the first games I can remember. Like, I was out last night and everybody I talked to was of the same mind last night too. As long as we don't get beat, everybody's happy enough. That way. The pressure's all on them. They're still to come to Celtic Park.
Well, that would leave 6 games to go. Sorry, Ralph, I'll be very quick, I promise. That would leave 6 games to go. 4 at home for us. So if we're 3 points ahead, with a big goal difference, in essence, 4 ahead, with St Johnstone at home, Rangers at home, being 2 others at home, that's a hell of a strong position to be in. So I would absolutely take it. Sorry, Ralph.
I would certainly have taken this position at the beginning of the season. You know, when we were talking about still being in contention and maybe even giving them a run right to the wire. But now I just want to put them back in their place as quickly as possible and as painfully as possible. So I'll take a draw. You know, I'll be kind of happy with it. But I'll still be... I'll take it.
Welcome.
Prediction?
I think
3-1. He's saying 3-1 to Celtic. Sorry,
3-1. The sweepstakes are on. We'll get 3-1. We'll get 2-1. Ralph, what did you go for? 6-0. What was it?
It was 7-0, but I've tapered that down to 3-1 because they'll get a penalty.
Right. I'm going for the McGregor sending off. Right, so that's 5-12. We'll let everybody jump off, and we'll see where we are. We'll come back on after the game, and we'll see if it's doom and gloom CSC or aren't we fantastic CSC. All right, folks, back in a second. And we are back. It is now 14:23. Ralph is smoking in a very sunlit Stoke garden. I can't see where Monty is at the moment. We're just waiting on Hector Bandido coming off the ceiling. He's apparently away doing something rather graphical in tribute to Carol Starfelt, but we'll leave that to your imagination. So, Monty, did it go as you expected? A beautiful Sunday. A lovely 2-1 victory.
I think a lot of it, Desi, was, as we had talked about before the game, about how they'd come out of the traps all guns blazing, which they did. And we didn't. And we didn't. It took us, I think we thought kickoff was 12:15.
We were waiting for the mass bells to stop ringing.
Waiting on everybody to get out of the chapel. But they came out all as we expected. We settled. Then we started to dominate the ball, and I think Ralph mentioned half jokingly earlier about how many chances or how many we would win by. If you actually replay the game back and you look at the chances, the clear chances we had, Abada's 2 from game 1 at the end, the chances in the first half, while it looks a lot tighter, and the game played out in a way that would make you think it was a lot tighter. We have more clinical finishing from us, and it could have been 3 or 4. But delighted, especially the way the team defended second half. The team was outstanding.
Yeah, Ralph and I were just catching up before you came on there, Monty. And Ralph, I think you encapsulated it perfectly by saying the whole squad know what job they've got to do, and they go out there and do it. I think that was the epitome of that today. Even having to swap O'Reilly for Rodgick, and then having to swap O'Reilly.
Here we go again. We're on the road again. We're on the road again. We're on our way to paradise.
Hector Bandido has come off the ceiling and left the bathroom after paying tribute to Carol Starfelt.
Never doubted Starfelt for a second. Never for a second. God bless the Swedish shagger.
Welcome to the Carol Starfelt Appreciation Society. Yes. So Hector will come to you in a second, but Ralph, we were just saying there, that was a perfect squad performance.
It was. From front to back, all the way through.
You'll have to speak up louder. The party tunes are on.
Even
Here we go again.
Even when we had to make substitutions, it didn't alter the pattern. It didn't lower the effort. And that's not for the first time this season. Everybody knew what they had to do. Everybody came on and did it. And we got the result we wanted. Sounds straightforward, but that's how it worked out in the end.
So Hector, our resident tactician, you did say 2-1.
Fuck the tactics. Fuck the tactics, Desi. Fuck the tactics.
No. I'm just saying you did say 2-1 to be fair to you.
I didn't. Did you? Never shouted the boys for a second, apart from the first 2 minutes when I shot myself. I think we all did, to be fair, didn't we? We all thought, fuck me. It was weird because even after they scored, I thought a second goal's coming here for them. Right? We feel as if we shit it like them at Celtic Park, but it's interesting enough, we talk about Callum McGregor as being, my opinion, our best player, but the first goal's an example of that. We've not been in the game, and he just took the ball, took the game to the scruff of the neck, beat 2 or 3 players.
Yeah.
And without him doing that, without him, showing that skill of leadership and doing that, we're under so much pressure, and it changed the game. It absolutely changed the game, because 1-0, their tails are up, 1 each. Suddenly, it took about 10 minutes. The game just settled. Then Celtic, I thought, dominated the rest of the first half. Totally dominated. Should have scored at least one more. Second half, Joe Hart had 1 save. Roof had 1 over the bar. I thought Abada, though, had the greatest chance in the second half. It was actually a really good save to McGregor, to be fair. But I thought we defended brilliantly as a team. I thought we were brilliant second half. And I thought we deserved to win it overall. Yeah.
Because then I can't see the TV at this point, but can anyone tell me if Chris Boyd's face is actually cheered up any? Because
he was alright, Desi. He was actually okay.
He was grimacing having to pay tribute, but I think that was just as in he knew there was nowhere else to go apart from constantly calling Stilly and Petrov by a different name every time he named them. Stan, Stilly, and Stan. I mean, they didn't really know where he was going.
We don't care about him, Desi. Yeah, it's all about Celtic, isn't it?
Celtic. It's all about Celtic, and of course, me and Ralph were talking just before we came on about the half time, the restart being delayed due to some glass being on. A half of glass was what I was entitling on Twitter. So apparently,
was that their bottle crashing?
Sorry, there's some background music. Can you guys hear the background music here? Right?
Very good.
There's some background music. Is that your house, Desi? I can hear some.
No, it's not my house. No, we don't have anything like that here.
Who's got the words on? Is that you?
It must be in Ralph.
Well, it's out.
All joking aside, though, what do we got left now? 6 games, 4 at home.
Yep,
something like that. Yeah,
that's the script. 1 at home against them. So in real terms, we can afford to slip up twice more than they can do, and we're still over the line. Isn't that it? We can lose 2 and still get over the line, or lose 2 more than they will and still get over the line. What's left to be done now, or when could we win it? We can win it 3 more games time if we continue to.
Let's not get ahead of yourself. They've still got to go to Braga. They've still go and face Braga. I think the Braga manager was there today. I don't know if he'd have been too worried watching that.
He's pissed himself laughing, isn't he?
Right.
After that.
But the other thing is they've got St Mirren and they'll probably get a fucking bye in the first game in the split. They'll just hand them the 3 points. So I don't think the Braga games are going to have any real impact on them or their ability to pick up points. I think Morelos being injured will probably damage them more because Roof looked particularly useless, although I used to think he was a decent footballer.
Desi, I know you're a worrier. The league's over. It's done.
No, I'm not. No.
Aretha Franklin is fucking singing
I'm not worrying.
God bless
what I was going to say, again, Ralph and I had a wee 5-minute catch up before used to eventually come off the ceiling. Because if you're Van Bronckhorst, right, you've got to play Celtic at Celtic Park, and you've also got to play them in the cup. So what would you do? What does he do against that Celtic team after the day? Do you think?
Shite yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Is there anything you can actually do, knowing that we've still got Kyogo to come back, you've still got Turnbull to find his form, things like that. I think we've still got a lot of kind of gears we can go up. The day was a great defensive, but we're still even to turn it on.
Well, wait a minute. The last 20 minutes, was it 25 minutes, was solid defensively. But I thought up to about an hour, I thought we were a better team in regards to keeping possession. Then we didn't sat back. They've got to come at us. They had to at least get a draw. They obviously had to win, but a draw keeps them still in it, right? And they had to throw everything at us, and they did. What a surprise. So, I thought sorry, Monty, the stats sometimes might say, yeah, they had majority possession. That's fine, they're at home the last 20 minutes. But we sat in, we defended as a unit really, really tightly, and include the midfield and the attackers. I mean, there's one example. A cross came in. Was it Giakoumakis? I think it was going to roof, and it should have been a tap-in. What a clearance it was. Your Ralston went on, Beaton went on. I thought Taylor, after an edgy start, was excellent. Carter Vickers, over the 90 minutes, I thought was probably man of the match. Starfelt was terrific. The best game I've seen him play.
Sorry, what was that? Sorry?
Starfelt was terrific. I thought over the 90 minutes.
Is this recording?
Yes,
I
hope it is.
I'm
always fair, Des. I've got no agenda with anyone. I just want the best for Celtic. But when he turns up like that, there's no excuses now. You've shown the level you can play at. So don't dip away from that. Like Taylor.
See, Hector, to be fair, sorry. I think the praise for Starfelt is the fact that he was really great defending today. It's when he's on the ball, he's a whole bomb scare. No, that's the idea.
Well, he is at times. Let's not make it negative. So, let's save that for a future podcast.
Oh, of course. Right. We'll stick to the point. Right, so positives. I'm still annoyed that I never get my Alan McGregor sent off bet up, because I really thought he should have been that was definitely the penalty claim for Maeda. Ali McCoy does not think it was a penalty.
In real time, Desi, you can't call that real time. I'm sorry, you can't. In real time, that's hard.
He went down straight away, maybe, but he stayed on his feet.
That's hard in real time.
When you look at it in the replay, McGregor lifts his leg and catches him. But, as you say, Maeda stayed on his feet. He wanted to go by, and he wanted to score. Kent would have fell down if it was at the other end. Any of theirs would have fell down.
Oh, Ralph, you just made me think of something else, because Hector touched on the Cal Mack run to create the first goal, to get us up the park and to get the first goal. But I actually think today was a great definition of a captain defining a team. Like, Tavernier was happy to be out wide, try to sling in balls, no being involved in the play directly, no chasing into the box, things like that. Whereas McGregor was your driving force, especially in that first half. And I think that kind of epitomised the two teams. That's sort of, we had the doggedness, the kind of professionalism, the let's get this job done. And Tavernier was just kind of on the edge of things and no really getting his hands dirty.
I thought the one thing we did wrong was a criticism. And it's a mild criticism, because we've gone there and won. Right? So it should be 99% positivity. And probably Ange would probably feel the same way, is that we had chances in the second half with kind of 4v4s or almost 4v3s where just a wee bit of composure. And we were probably in 2 or 3 more times, and we just didn't show that composure. But that comes with experience, right?
Yep.
That was the one thing. I think we could have made it 3. My point is, I think we could have killed the game, made it 3-1, and killed the game completely. And we didn't. But that's a mild criticism, because we got the job done.
Yeah, but that's why I also touched on earlier. I think we've still got a few gears to go up moving forward, attacking wise. But let's take a wee moment to praise. Right, we mentioned Maeda. His work rate was unbelievable. But what about big Giakoumakis, Monty? Talk about he really gets stuck in that second half.
Yeah, and that's something we've missed for a long time. Just that someone who wants to do the physical individuals. He didn't get a lot of service, didn't have a lot of the ball in terms of chances, but in work rate, you've seen him pulling up with cramp in the last couple of minutes. Everything, and Hector touched upon it, that clearance was like the sort of thing you'd expect a centre half to do, and you'd be praising him. Just really, really, from front to back, we defended brilliantly, but is that the Rebs on again? Someone's got the Rebs on?
Desi's going to have a big fucking...
It's not me. It's Ralph. I'm watching Ralph on the video. I can see him on the video here. It's
only you and me that's showing their heads above the parapet. I can see Max Wall and fucking Mark Kermode here. It's just their hairstyles. What's going on?
Yeah. Overall, which I think if you look at Giakoumakis...
Sorry, Ralph, I can't hear you.
There was definitely a wee bit of the dark arts in that team today. There was Giakoumakis took somebody out, Beaton took somebody out, Ralston took somebody out, took the booking and killed the game. And I'm not entirely sure that Starfelt was injured when he sat down for a minute or two. just to take the pressure off. Doing all the things that other teams have done against us, but doing them right and getting the result.
Right.
You can't praise enough for tactics, for attitude. Everything was spot on today.
And in response to Hector, finally admitting that Carl Starfelt was one of the greatest Celtic players in modern era. How's about Neil Beaton's cameo performance today, Hector? I know you're a big fan.
It's not a Hector thing, Des. It's a Desi question, isn't it? Because you will never give the guy a break. Will you admit today when he came on?
To be fair, I thought he had a chance to maybe maximise those lovely runs he made today. It's just a shame he couldn't capitalise on them, but I'm willing to
what a run down the right wing. What a run that was. And he was taken out a bad fell as well. But joking aside, we listen, as a Celtic fan, we're all honest about things, right? And if it's things we think could be better or worse, we call it out as it is. There's no agendas as far as we're concerned. And Starfelt was great today. Beaton came on, he was great today. I would struggle to find, I don't want to be negative about anything, right? We all seen the game today. Hatate could have been better. We can see that, couldn't we? Right? But let's not go there. I thought Giakoumakis and Maeda's work rate was phenomenal. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. I think Giakoumakis, I think he tweeted a kind of heart of a lion, but he has, hasn't he? He just doesn't give players a minute's peace. The one he done, Jack, and you seen Jack react, and he did a wee punch and a wee kick at him. Jack actually stared him in the eyes, didn't he? Is that it? Okay. And then 30 seconds later, Jack subbed, wasn't he? And that sort of, to me, embodied kind of today, where Giakoumakis, when needed, up the pitch or down the pitch, it was vital today. I thought Meada was brilliant. But player of the match for 6 minutes was Rogic. All those analytics guys must be fucking gone mental. Rogic was so good for 6 minutes.
That's why I had to tweet it at the start as soon as I saw O'Reilly. And O'Reilly, to be fair, is great. With that one touch and move. Yep. But when you watch Roger, as you say, Hector, you watch Roger today, he's a level above players under that pressure environment. Like him and McGregor, I think, are just basically saying, give me this, I'll revel in this. I mean, fantastic.
Well, the led from the
Hatate's what did make the goal, kind of thing, so everybody had their contribution, even some that were quieter than others.
Hatate made himself available. I was watching the wee bit and he tended to stay off the play.
He did look fucked though, didn't he, Ram? He looked fucked.
That bit when he chased Ramsey, yeah.
That was Ramsey. Hardly a fucking speed merchant he was chasing him.
Yeah, he couldn't catch him. He'd been doing a lot of work off the ball, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, again, he made his Japan international debut during the week, so it's been a big week for him. You know what I mean?
But on that, Desi, if we lost Taylor, what would look like a tight hamstring, Taylor went down, and you can see him clearly saying to the physio it was a hamstring. O'Reilly went off with a knock to the ankle, but seemed to be okay. So if we take those two out of the equation, from a squad perspective, we're okay going into next weekend with Turnbull obviously coming back, Rogic fit. They have to switch over the way.
Kyogo, yeah. Mikey Johnson.
Switch. Mikey Johnson's still there, but the switch fullbacks, Juranovic the left back, Ralston the right back, that doesn't concern us because we have a pattern of that in a lot of the games before Taylor made that position his own. If we lose another fullback, though, who do we have? Bolingoli?
The Scales.
Right, aye. Because the last thing I thought was, fuck me, if we're going to be relying on Bolingoli, and he's so far out of the picture. So we've Scales to come back in to kind of cover that.
It's only me can see Monty's grey locks, kind of.
It's only, I can't see.
What's he up to? An IT expert.
I can only see Ralph. I'm just hoping that you are on the same call as me and Ralph, because I can only see Ralph.
Is this the Clyde phone in, Hugh?
I know. Apparently that's heavy. Apparently Rangers fans are getting heavy abuse regards the glass on the pitch. So we'll wait and see what happens.
See just on that. We don't know the full story, right? What we do know is it was broken glass in the goal mouth at the start of the second half, right? So just put to one side the stupidity. I know that's quite tough. Hi, can you hear us okay?
I can see you. Yeah. We're in a room full of balloons on Skype at the moment.
Right. I was just going to say, right, just imagine the stupidity. I know that's the biggest bit for 1 second. And the person's done it because Joe Hart's in there. But you're thinking, my team's going to attack this goal. So purely from your own team's perspective, there's a strong chance you could badly injure your attackers. Your Kent, your Roof, your Arebos. How fucking thick must you be to, one, come to a match, and two, with that stuff and do that? I mean...
It's up there with letting fireworks off outside the most soundproof hotel in Scotland. You know what I mean? So far that's not really working out for them, that whole fireworks thing. Remember Malmo, and then it's been Celtic, so I think they maybe have to get out a bye. And what about Ralph? What about the 700 fans? Before the game, I thought it looked a bit, but it was annoying me as in Celtic actually taking the allocation, purely kind of playing that game. But like, when the sidelines that way, this is the old firm, all that shite, and this is Ibrox and all that.
I can't get my head around that at all. All over the ground, this is the old firm. And is that not supposed to be why they were having a week off with the Australians? It's just not, they don't know what they're playing at. One of the best places in the world to be is Ibrox when you win. And conversely, it's one of the worst places to be. But that would have been a great day for anybody that was at a game today. So I'm glad they get their tickets in retrospect, and I'm glad they've had a good day out, because it does make a difference.
I think, Ralph, what they're doing there's obviously something contractual when they do Le Pram about the Australians refusing to use that term. And this is part of, we debated this, or it did the round. Why does Celtic own half of that, or why did Celtic register their part of that? And it's to prevent in any joint initiative that phrase being used. So what you're seeing here is a wee play now that they're going to use this, and and Sky are quite complicit and on board, and they're trying to attach themselves to us, but we don't want to be attached to them in regards to that trademark. So it's a wee bit of a political or a wee bit of a corporate game going on, but ultimately they're trying to broadcast out an image of something that doesn't exist, that we have these two clubs somehow interlinked, and corporately, while that might be the case, from a fan's perspective, it's obvious that we don't want fuck all to do with them. And if you believe half of their lunatics, they want fuck all to do with us, which is absolutely perfect. Let them drift off into the abyss. Fuck them.
Yeah. Hector, you still on? Have you heard from Ange yet? You're usually right in there with the Ange post-match commentary. Have you heard from Ange yet?
Ange, you know, it's interesting, and you might see it tonight when Sports Scene do it. It's the first time I've seen him after a match where his words are still the same. Right, his words don't change, but see, physically, his face, he's got a smile in his face. You know, Angie's got that gruff, kind of typical, kind of, no shit, but he had a smile, a soft smile in his, and you'll actually notice it when you see him. And he basically said, he goes, delighted, obviously delighted, all the kind of usual kind of stuff they say, right? He thought, Callum McGregor, true captain today.
Yep.
Defence gets a hard time, he goes, he thought he defended really well, the team played really well, blah, 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 blah. And it was interesting, his very last question he was asked was round about, is that the league kind of almost over? Obviously he's never going to admit to that. And he says, no, all I want next week, mate, is 3 points, mate.
That was a classic, mate. Let me put you in your place, mate.
That was it, mate. That was it, mate.
Nice.
He's no daft. He knows it's all done now. All they've got to do is keep the heat and just keep doing what they've been doing. But he's not going to say that in the telly. He'll just let everybody else say it for him.
Exactly. Well, again, St Johnstone next week, they've won their last two games. So again, just go out there, get a 1-0, get the victory, move on to the cup. You know what I mean?
Aye. Is that today's taking the heart out of them now? They'll falter a couple more times before they end.
Is that the Rebs on? Somebody got the Rebs on?
That's Desi's out. What a party in Tory Glen tonight it is, by the way.
I will be partying down the Cedarwood tonight. No, I actually went out with the dog at half time, and I could hear the Beechwood. I could hear from the Beechwood, we've won the league again, fly the flag. They were obviously out in the beer garden stroke car park.
Can I let us into a wee secret? I took the dog out this morning, pretty early doors, about 7:30, 8:15 this morning. And I'm over in Eastern Berkshire area, right? Me and the dog went out, and I'm walking, I reckon about 400 metres round the corner, and all I hear is Aidan McInnesby out to somebody way. It's right, and I burst out laughing when I heard that. And I thought it's going to be a good day today. I thought
you were going to say we were out with the dog at 6:30 this morning with a few cans of expanding foam.
That's what I thought he was going wrong, wasn't he?
No. Well, we don't live near Ibrox, but they live somewhere very different nowadays. Very different.
Yes. Hector's in the suburbs, the northern suburbs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm actually contemplating Desi getting a taxi to Shelton to see the old team. I must have.
I think Charlie and the boys are in the Glencairn if you want to head over there.
Is that where you're going, aye?
No, and apparently the queues for Gracie's, my wife was just saying there, the queues for Gracie's are down and round the block. You're literally the whole of the Tron Gate has been queued out for people celebrating, and there will be people celebrating the night as usually.
So they should.
Of course. That's the league over. I look forward to hearing some drunken singing as the pubs close tonight. That's what usually happens. I'm on a main road. You tend to hear some late night celebrations. So how are we celebrating today then? We'll close with that. How are we all celebrating? Watching some fish EPL.
I'm going out to finish a bit of joinery out the back in my man cave.
I'm going to go in the back garden. I'm going to continue drinking religiously throughout the afternoon. I'll probably fall asleep around 6 o'clock this evening because I'm an old man, an old git. Right?
I remember saying what time sports scene's on.
Oh, no, I'll be sleeping by that point. And
there'll be a rerun there. Sky rerun the match.
You record it. Or sports scene's pretty good. You record it.
You can watch that.
Do you know what? All joking aside, if you just take a wee step back, we're now, 6 games to go. We're 6 points clear. Say 7. The goal
difference. The joy of 6. That's right. What we're calling the podcast.
Probably 7 now, right? But we've got 4 home games left out of 6. St Johnstone next weekend. The league's pretty much done. Because Ange, it's never done till it's done, but Ange won't accept the slipping standards. He's got the squad he needs now. And Celtic fans, after a fucking horrendous last season, horrendous summer, from a football perspective, should celebrate and enjoy the moment. Enjoy it, because they won't win their last 6 games. They're gone.
Yeah.
So well done, Ange and the team, and all the fans. Well done. Enjoy yourself.
Well done. So that's it. Yeah. So we'll wrap up here with a big thank you. I can see there's a party bus just arrived outside there. With 3 looking very sad Rangers fans heading towards their house. So apparently their celebration didn't last.
Do you live in a Rangers area, Des?
Oh no, I certainly do not. They stand out like a sore thumb. They're that rare, so that's why I noticed. You know what I mean? No.
Do you know the last time I was at Ibrox, there were a bus like that, and they were holding up bags of tatties and waving it to us. They really are a different breed altogether. They really are.
Oh, forget about them.
Exactly. Today we're only here to celebrate Carol Starfelt and his magnificent defensive partner, Carter Snickers.
The new Baresi. Starfelt's the new Baresi.
All right. Big fan of the podcast on Twitter. 67 Grohl says, when's the draw for the Champions League group stages?
Perfect. Exactly. That's back in this. So, but that's a very
That's
good
another way of looking at it. We're 2 games away from a 5th treble in 6 years. And that's phenomenal domination.
Yeah.
2 games away from it.
I'd argue 3, 4, 2. We gotta beat them at Celtic Park, and we gotta win at least 1 more of our league games to be comfortable going into the last 3 or 4 games of the season.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting as things work out. It'll be interesting. When do we play them? Do we know yet? Is it
probably the first or second game of the split.
That's what I'm just wondering. It depends how the fixtures go in between, i.e. next weekend. You never know, St Mirren could pull off a shot. Hopefully we beat St Johnstone. And then you could be looking at maybe a 12-point swing when we face them, especially the goal difference.
We could actually win the league at Celtic Park.
This will be something that the SFA will have to contemplate, because they really wouldn't want that, would they? Anyway.
I wouldn't. I want to look
forward. That's a good point to call it. Let's go and celebrate. A big well done to Ange.
Monty, that one's for you. That tune's for you. Here we go.
Oh, there we
go. What many a day?
Lindsay's finest flip band. Right, yes. So again, thanks everyone for listening. It's been a beautiful Sunday day. A beautiful result for Celtic. A great performance by the whole squad. Everyone gave their all. So it's just left for me, Desmond, to say thank you to Hector, Ralph and Monty. Thanks, lads.
Partying Desi's tonight, folks.
The party's already started.
Rebel Tunes, he's got his own band sorted and everything. Fantastic.
Feel free to join in. And then we'll come back on our podcast, hopefully this after the St Johnstone game, and see what the split and the cup semi-final holds in store. Alright folks, thanks for listening. Good afternoon.